And welcome back to Breakfast with Brothers.
What's going on, everybody? Good to see y'all. Good to hear from y'all. Sorry, he's sipping his coffee. Just sitting here with another day of hanging with the brothers, talking about not breakfast. So,
Yeah, no breakfast today, other than my coffee, but that's besides the point.
yeah, we're not talking about his coffee all day. I can assure you. I can assure you guys that.
So, for today's talk on the episode, I was thinking that we could discuss the idea that nature's. I guess talk about the idea of nature's benefit on people, and I guess what I mean by that is the fact of just solely getting enough sunlight in you. And then obviously the other things that you can do within nature, such as like hiking and just taking a walk through like the woods or down your street through the neighborhood.
Maybe even
Zach
some
mentioned,
fishing, some swimming, maybe some local stream diving. Doesn't have to be
yeah,
diving, but bridge jumping, stuff like that. Maybe going and exploring a secret cove. I know we had one that was it wasn't really a secret cove. There was a rest stop near our hometown, and there was a rope tied off to a tree, and there was a pretty deep stream, deep enough where you could jump off of and do some swimming, do some well, some shenanigans.
where are you talking about?
The rest stop near Roscoe, actually. I think they just called it Roscoe Ropes, but there wasn't multiple ropes. I'm pretty sure it was only one rope.
I'm gonna be honest, I've never actually been there. That's pretty cool.
I actually don't. Maybe Roscoe Ropes is a different place, like a fun park or maybe some other recreational activity area. But this place was literally just off of a rest stop. You walk through the wood, park your car at the rest stop, walk through the woods to where the little creek runs through, and then you see it opens up, and there's like a little shoreline that opens up with some rocks to sit on and little entryways into the water, and then you cross it, and then you hike up some rocks, some bigger rocks, ones that you can actually jump off of or just hang out on, get a suntan. But no, the rope hangs above those rocks, and then you could just jump it from there, ride the rope into the water and do some flips, do some 360s, something crazy. But that's literally it, just one rope.
Sick. Okay, cool.
It's cool. It's cool. Another example of getting out, enjoying the sunlight. It's hard now in New York. I know if you're listening from New York, it's a little cold to be doing summer activities right now, but
It's brick.
mega.
It's really cold for no reason. My room is very very cold in the mornings because I'm certain there is absolutely no insulation in these walls. But it's also because of the big window that I have that you can just feel the cold
Mm.
air cooking through. I mean, that's on me. I could have covered that up with some of that like basically like saran wrap that you put on like older windows and such to help hold the heat in.
No, that's true. That's true. It's the landlord's special. If they are cutting you off of any heat sources, it's definitely not them putting in the proper amount of insulation.
Oh yeah, yeah. Considering there's only one area where the heat comes out to, it's besides the point. It's already almost close to spring, so I've been dealing with it either way.
Yeah, we're rolling into the warm months of the year, slowly but surely. Because before you know it, we'll be back around to the cold. So let's get through the cold while we have it now. Look forward to what the benefits of the warmth will bring here soon.
Oh yeah, I figured on such a cold day we could talk about the warm benefits.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, we used to
But
hike all the time. I mean, we didn't go to any place that we were rope jumping and river diving, but rock climbing and being able to traverse some pretty steep mountains. I mean, there's been trails that we've walked. We even did that one back in Liberty that was the course behind Bosie's and the co-op extension. The little I don't even know how to describe it, like the obstacle course trail with all the
it's like the
little
exercise course.
exercise trail. Better way to put it, definitely.
Yeah, like every I don't know, every like 20, 30 feet there was like a new exercise. The whole purpose was like for you to I guess keep it at like a jog pace and go to each area within the woods that it's lined up at. And there's like a different exercise for you to do at every station. It was pretty cool. I mean, like, as kids, we loved doing the different exercises at each one that we thought were cool because like, some of them were just like do push-ups here, do sit-ups here, something like that. But there was some like cool things they built that you could kind of like, I guess we fooled around on. But there was like they also added in like some like rope, not rope, but like I guess like wire walks where like it was like a balance beam basically,
Oh yeah, I
except you were
remember that.
balancing on the wires, like the heavy steel wires. Those were pretty cool. And then what else did we have there? I mean, majority of the time we just hiked behind the house too.
Yeah, that too. That too, definitely. Did not have any exercise course, just trails.
Nah, yeah, it was just woods.
Some four-wheeling trails, some lines that ran the power line. That was cool. Being able to go all the way up there. And then also, I guess there wasn't really anything else about it. I mean, some four-wheeler trails that branched off in different directions and stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean we had a bunch of stuff to do. I guess just to bring it to the point that I'm trying to make with this, so the viewers got kind of an idea what I meant. Um, Recently, I've been dealing with some lack of motivation, and I found great motivation within just taking like a half hour to an hour walk, like right around the neighborhood that I live in,
Yeah,
and it's really nothing too complex, nothing too crazy, and pretty much anyone can do this if you're feeling some sort of way, I guess. I take a walk right down the road. I have a creek that runs pretty much right behind the house that I live in. And so I take my walk down the road. I cross the bridge that goes right over the creek, and I walk along that creek all the way up into town. It's probably in total about like a half hour to a 45-minute walk for me, but that's because I take
nice.
a nice little stroll. But if you were to like actually like drive it, it's probably no more than like 5 minute, a 5 minute drive.
Yeah, right.
But I take a nice little walk up. It's like kind of like an incline first, going up along the creek, and then I could just make my way through town, and I come all the way back. And it's really nice. It's really peaceful. No one bothers me. Everyone else is out walking their dogs or jogging, or some kids riding their bikes. But along the way, I just kind of like I do nothing. I admire the things around me,
Yeah,
and
that's
you'll
how it
think,
should be.
yeah. And some people might think, well, that's like an old man walk. Yeah, yeah, it is an old man walk, and you should do an old man walk because it's nice. Helps you relax, helps you calm down, helps you de-stress. And honestly, it's been nothing but help for my attitude with things as of recently. I've felt like I've been very busy with things, and it's a good thing for me to be busy.
Yep.
But I find that I get stressed out very quickly. So these walks have been nothing but helpful. So that's my point today: is to stress the fact that people should get outside as much as humanly possible. Um,
Getting the
you know, f-
vitamin D in you, it helps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, I work inside all day. I do a lot of work online, as if people have been listening, I work online for an AI gig, and it's nice because in the winter I don't have to worry about going outside into the cold. But I don't get outside. I haven't gotten outside too much during the winter because of it. Just working on my job inside and not going anywhere. So, just trying to stress that point
Right.
because it is very important.
But I will
Got any?
say to that point, what he said about old man walks, it helps teach you a little bit of understanding of patience. Because when you're walking, you're going and doing things that take time away from other things, busy endeavors, maybe. You get a sense of what it feels like to be able to recollect your thoughts, focus up, decide a new path. So realistically, when you're doing these walks and hanging out, maybe catching your breath, not doing anything super important, when you're walking by yourself, You're thinking your own thoughts. You're planning out maybe the next day, putting little to-dos in your head that you have to get done. And that's what's nice about being able to take the time and walk. Not only, you're clearing your head, you are getting some sunlight, you are relaxing in a way. Walking is, I wouldn't say it's necessarily an exercise. For some people, it definitely can be, but it also should be seen as a relaxation tool. It's good for digestion. It obviously helps keep you healthy. Your cardiovascular system is working, your lungs are breathing hopefully better than ever after a good walk. But that's the idea. Besides the health benefits, it's also giving you a chance to see emotional health benefits. Being able to, like I said, get your thoughts in order, decide a new path, and then also, like I was saying, with patience, being able to go in a direction that you feel comfortable with instead of making a decision in the moment. For example, like Ian was saying, if he's going to clear his head or whatnot, and he's got to decide if for example, maybe he's going to high school and he has to find a way to pay for the SATs or something like that, and he needs a new way to fundraise, or maybe he is asking, for a big loan or something like that to go to school. Maybe he has something wrong with his car that's coming up and there's no way he could pay for it unless he does X, Y, and Z. Well, those paths are nice to be able to set you straight, give you ideas to take plans of action. It also helps to be able to cope with the fact of what you're going through and kind of keep a level head. Like Ian was saying, being able to be stressed comes very easily, so going and walking it off is big. Being able to give time to people that you don't necessarily want to yell at or be mean to, because had you been there in the moment, maybe you would be, because you're a little short fused, or, tension is high, things are hot, and it's not looking so positive. So, being that a walk is something where you have to do it slow and there's nothing really to think about, you're just using your legs, going somewhere. That's it in the most basic sense. You get that sense of patience and that sense of a recollection and being able to just sit with your thoughts and do what you have to do.
Yeah. I mean, you were saying like sometimes, or you could use it as something like to think through. I use
Mm,
it as a time to not think.
mm,
To really just because I think way too much, so I got to stop that somehow. So I bring along my my earbuds and I listen to some music just on my walk.
music's
But
good.
the thing is that I have I have the AirPod Pros, so I have like the Aware technology where you can
Oh,
still like
yes.
hear.
Yeah.
So I turn down the music a little bit. It's not like blaring in my ears or anything. Um, just so I still have like some music that I like to listen to that keeps me calm, relaxes me, or just something that I like to listen to.
Right.
But so I can also hear everything else around me and still get that still hear the birds chirping, still hear a car coming up behind me if I'm gonna get run over or something.
Of course.
Um, or just any other noises that you hear in everyday life. And then every couple of walks, I'll just walk without music. That way it's just me and the outside world. But obviously, if you're going to take a walk yourself, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you
Yeah,
relaxed.
absolutely. Obviously, we're just sitting here telling you what worked for us or has worked for us and what could work for other people, but it's all preference. And he makes a
Yeah,
good point about not walking with intent. If you're going out there to just clear your thoughts, then just go out there to do just that. Don't think about anything. Don't take it too seriously. Walk where you want to walk. It doesn't even have to be long. It doesn't have to be like Ian's route where he was saying he's walking 30 to 40 minutes or whatnot. Go outside, walk for 10, 20 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Especially now in the cold, you can't really do much. But when you do have the time and it gets a little warmer, keep walking. Keep increasing the amount of time you're out there. Because as much as you're out there, it's going to help no matter what. And whatever you're out there for. Reasons. It doesn't even have to be a good reason. You could just walk to walk. So,
right. Yeah, I think it was Brad. Brad texted us one day. I think during the winter, this winter, and I was complaining about the cold at some point. Just working out in the cold or something like that. One of our text messages, and I don't know if I could say that. I don't know if I should say this on the pod, but I think I don't know. I think I'll say it anyways. He said, "Stop being a pussy for the cold." And so I kind of took that to heart, not in the sense of like, oh man, like he just called me that. No, like to the sense of, yeah, like why not? Let me just go enjoy the cold while I got it because, we only get the cold, for half of the year basically. So even when it's been cold, I've been trying to like get out and take my walks and enjoy it for what it is. And sure, like yeah, like it sucks because it's cold, but it's also nice and like refreshing, especially if I've been sitting in a dry house for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it should be, even if it is cold. The cold only lasts for so long, especially around here. This winter's been pretty kind for the most part. It's been randomly warm. I mean, hell, I got to golf in February, like the first week of February around then.
Dude, yeah, we both got to golf.
Oh, yes, right. Yep, that's true. But that's one of those things where you don't really have an opportunity to do summer things in the winter. And when you do, you take that opportunity by storm. Now, not that has anything to do with walking, but again, back to that point of being in the cold. I mean, it's just one of those things. I've never really been a fan of the cold, but doing things in the cold, snowboarding, things like that, winter sports are easy. You're bundled up, you're prepared for it. It's meant to be that way. But when you're not prepared for it, that's when things get shady. And I think that's where my complaining comes from in the past, being in the cold and not being prepped for it. Because there's been
Oh
plenty of
yeah.
times, plenty of times.
Well, that's just lack of knowledge into it because we were younger. There's also the fact that we're not going to look cool doing this because we got to wear all this crap.
Oh, sure.
Or it's
Well, I
just,
mean, the snowboarding was one of those things where you could wear whatever the heck you wanted. You were on a cold mountain. I don't think anyone was
yeah.
going to tell you. But I guess in the other regard to walking or going and doing something outside, like working on the car or a walk in general, maybe, I don't know, going to pick up Taco Bell down the street or something like that. I'm just thinking of random things, but not prepared for the cold. Bad time. Bad time.
Oh yeah. I mean, if you're not ready for it, obviously the cold is sucks. I remember working with Dad last year during the winter time, and here we were trimming up pine trees, and I had like a pair of gloves that were soaked, so I
Oh,
traded out for the next one, and I
yeah,
couldn't even like move my fingers to like try to prune back some of these things. And then you start sweating, and so you take off your big coat. You have like a hoodie or like a smaller coat underneath. Then you get cold because your sweat obviously makes you cool down fast
right.
once the wind hits it. So then you put your big coat back on, and then you start sweating again, and then you take the big coat off. Um, it's always a battle working or just functioning within the cold because it's so tough to stay warm and to stay comfortably warm, especially like if you're working like out there and like you're wearing gloves to try to keep your hands warm as
Oh, yeah.
possible,
Oh, yeah.
and you're using your hands. Obviously, your gloves are going to get wet, and then you're going to have to put on another pair of gloves. And then if those aren't, sometimes they're too thick, sometimes they're too thin. Then your hands are cold or your hands are too hot. You can't move your hands in these gloves. It's all a pain in the ass. That's pretty much all it is. Besides that point, it's definitely good to get the cold in you, but I understand why people hate the cold.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, people do ice bath challenges, and maybe it's not so a challenge. I know some people do it as a health ritual day to day, or a couple times a week, maybe not every day.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's
like the
definitely
polar plunge, right?
yes, yeah, just doing an ice bath dip for. I know when people first start, they can really only get up to 20, 30 seconds, but eventually you see people. Some of these guys on Facebook, some of these guys on TikTok, um, they're doing it for well, 3, 4, sometimes 5 minutes, and obviously they've acclimated to the ice bath and being able to get to that point, but everyone starts somewhere. And I feel like that's one of those things where maybe it's not reconnecting with nature. Most of these people baths are just, right off their back deck, or sometimes they're even inside, like inside their home in like a shoe room or something. But I know I've seen some people that go and throw it in the woods somewhere and on their property, or they're near some. I think I saw this dude doing it near some camping site when he was out with his RV, and like the perfect scenery, setting it up in the woods. There's a lot of A lot of the foliage on the ground is covered with moss. The trees in the air are covering most of the canopy that the sun is coming through, so there's not a lot of light, and it's just the little rays that peek through, makes it really picturesque. But the point I'm trying to get at here is that these people are going for that aesthetic of the nature vibe with the birds chirping, maybe the insects making some noises. And I guess even at that, with the sun rays, that's something to behold. So doing an ice bath in that environment would be sweet. I might even jump in an ice bath. I'm not really a fan of, again, the cold, but apparently there are some health advantages to doing an ice bath.
Listen, I don't. I'll take working out in the cold rather than just jumping in an ice bath. I've tried the cold shower things too, and I can't do it. First thing in the morning, I can't because I already wake up in a cold room. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'd have an advantage at that point, considering that I've already woken up in a cold room. I could just jump into the cold shower quick and get out. But I've tried it. I don't think I could ever do it. I'm sure I could try it again. Maybe I can do an ice bath, but
Ice
I
bath,
don't know.
it's not really as much as it is a gain. It's not a huge gain. Where if you're not doing it, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. But I did see something about instead of doing an ice bath or anything with actually rigid temperature water, in this case frigid, you go take your normal shower, hot water, warm water, whatever that looks like, and then at the last portion of your shower, 30 seconds, a minute, you could increase it week over week or whatever. You turn it to cold, and then you just stand there in the cold before you get out of the shower. So, like in your first week, say for example, you shower 2 or 3 times in that first week. For every time that you get in the shower, do your normal stuff, wash your hair, wash your body, and then boom, once you're done, you're cleaned off. Last 30 seconds, go to the faucet, flip it cold, stand there, just face it, just sit in the cold and just brace yourself, and then turn it off, be done, do your thing. Apparently, it closes up your pores, helps to, I wouldn't say stop, helps to, what's a good word here? It kind of,
Aid.
it helps, it aids, yes, but I'm trying to think of the word because it basically stops the possibility of infections forming, helps with blackheads and pimples forming, and also makes your skin glow a little brighter. Because when you're warm and the shower, the post shower effect, it opens up your pores to make it easier for shaving, so you can easily like release hairs through use of razors or an electric shaver or whatnot. And then you could also, I think it's good for like when women are shaving their legs or their arms or their armpits and stuff like that. It's just an easier time because your pores are open, your skin is softer, so it makes it a little easier to, especially apply product. Like if you're someone who moisturizes after their shower, it'll obviously be able to seep deeper into your skin in that case, and then you could play with it as needed. Get rid of blackheads, do some cheek scraping or whatever, and then also just shaving in general. So the cold would close up those pores, reduce any chance of infection or pimple formation or anything like that. Maybe, I don't know, I can't think of other random, derma, I don't even know, dermis problems. I can't think of the word there that would fit proper. But the point is that there are some health benefits to doing those things. And then, of course, I guess I'm sure there's cardiovascular benefits with heart health, the ease of breathing, how long you can hold your breath for, things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Look into it some more. I know when I first saw it, it was something random. I'm not even sure how it popped up, but maybe I got to talking with somebody about it.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I just that I could probably do the 30 seconds right after I finish showering. But
That's how you start, and eventually, if you work up to it, then it could become more. Again, it's just more of a substitute for the ice bath. Not everyone has a big old, I guess, pot planter, or I don't even know what the heck you would call that. The soil, the like that big oval tub that you see people
trough.
use. The trough, yeah, that's a good word. Thinking about filling that up, getting the ice to do it. I know in some colder temperatures, your ice will just freeze automatically, no problem, and you just break it open. But in other cases, you might have to actually get your own ice. Places where it's not dropping to freezing temperatures every night.
I mean, like you could always just leave it out, even if it's just cold out. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to freeze. It could still just be ice cold, and just no ice over top of it though.
I guess if it's cold enough. I don't know if there's some type of threshold that they say, oh, your ice bath has to be 10 degrees or else.
Well, I
I'm
mean,
not sure.
of course, if there's no ice, I mean, I guess you couldn't consider it an ice bath,
Well, when you
but
said ice cold water, that still makes me think it's possible. But again, I think there's probably some threshold that people who do the ice bath, that it helps. But that's, of course, we get off on an ice bath tangent here, and
we
it's
did.
not really talking about nature by any means. But again, we were talking about improving your health in natural ways.
Right, and the benefits of nature. And ice bath technically is because people do, like I know Miss Nolan does the polar plunge.
Nice.
Not that she does that all the time, but she's done it before, and there's benefits to doing that
Right.
within the coldness of nature and winter. But I guess we
Nature.
can focus on the idea of being around things that are also alive. I know right now it's very tough because everything seems like it's dead. But I think Zach and I were talking shortly before this, and he had mentioned like having house plants,
House plants.
and the benefits they have, especially I would think during the winter when everything is seemingly cut back and isn't growing right now. I think house plants are extremely important during the winter for those people that do experience all of this gray and brown bleakness that you get during the wintertime. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But yes, I think houseplants are extremely important. One, because I believe they boost serotonin levels.
Mm, mm.
Just the fact of seeing green foliage or having it surrounding you. I know you have plenty of plants right within your living room there.
Oh yeah, Meg's got a little green thumb going. And what's nice about that too, I think, is the oxygen production. I don't know if it actually helps
Yeah.
the quality of the air that we're breathing in. I think we might need a certain amount of plants for that to actually change, like the quality. But I
Hmm.
know for sure that even if you're starting at one, eventually you'll want to give some friends to your plants. That's how Meg looks at it. For every plant that she has, another plant needs a friend or whatnot. Or we're filling a space here. Or maybe one plant dies and you need a replacement. There's a lot of reason to get a plant besides just the natural idea of looking at it. Of course, the benefits of, like I was saying with the oxygen, being able to be responsible, taking care of plants is no easy chore. Cleaning up the soil that it's in. Sometimes it gets dirty. Sometimes you have to do some deadheading, take care of some dead leaves. Sometimes you have to make that commitment to getting rid of a dead plant and planting a new one. That's a task in itself. Nobody wants to get rid of a plant. Nobody wants to admit they killed a plant, but sometimes it just happens.
Yeah, it definitely just happens. I mean, you know, most people don't really know how to take care of plants, and that's no problem because I'm not any better. I'm not calling you out or anything. It's just it's tough. Sometimes it's really hard to take care
No,
of a
it's true.
plant, especially if if their requirements are a lot of water or a little bit of water
Yeah,
or
yeah.
basically little to none.
And Google,
Little to
Google can only
nothing.
help you so much. There's only so much information. Eventually it's a lot of hands-on experience, trial and error.
Yeah, it's a lot of watching, a lot of seeing what the plant does, what it takes. I know. I'll just give one example, like a jade plant.
Mm,
So anyone who knows anything about the plant world, jade plants are pretty interesting plants. I believe they're considered a part of the succulent family because of their ability to hold water within their leaves.
right. Yeah.
So, usually you can tell if a jade plant needs to be watered if the leaves are, thin. That doesn't necessarily mean that it needs water, but a majority of the plant will show that if the leaves are fat, it's good on water, it's withholding it, should be all right. Maybe just give it a little bit. But if they're pretty thin or it looks dry, then majority of the time it needs water.
Mm,
Even in those cases, you could be overwatering or underwatering.
sure.
I by no means have a great green thumb. I have a relatively okay green thumb. It's like it's like a pale green, if you want to say that.
Partly green,
But yeah,
tiny bit
partly
green.
green. But just to give example to what we're talking about. But besides the point, you know, having anything surrounding you within your home that is, of foliage type, very important to your mental and physical health because of the benefits that it can bring. But just even putting nature around you, in the sense of just going outside, taking a nice walk, doesn't even have to be within the woods. It could just literally be through your neighborhood. It can literally be going down to the creek, just going outside and enjoying a sport. Like, Zach and I play golf
Hmm.
a lot.
Yeah,
It
walking
could
around the
be,
park, walking around a grocery store, even. Hell, just when you're
yeah,
doing your grocery shopping, just do some extra laps or something.
yeah, just anything to get yourself moving. Um, but the main focus would be just to involve yourself in nature somehow. Just make sure to take a moment when you're outside just to enjoy the surroundings that encapsulate you. Now, if you're in the city, then try to find a tree or something and look at it for a little bit. But if you're within a regular neighborhood where there's plenty of foliage, at least some grass, and any type of moving water, go take a look at it. Enjoy it,
Yes, sir.
take it in. But
That's how it should be.
yeah, I think on that note, though, we have to cut us short here.
Nah, that's no problem. Want to thank the listeners again for coming out. Breakfast with Brothers tells you to get out, take a walk, do your thing. Make sure to stay healthy, stay happy. Keep focused. Keep striving. Keep striving and prospering.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, thank you all for coming and listening. Of course, by now you have an idea of where we're at. We're both on Spotify and YouTube. For any new listeners, check us out on both. Whichever one you're watching us on, make sure you subscribe or follow us. Make sure to smash that like button. But
Obliterate.
just absolutely obliterate the subscribe button. But thank you all again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next time. Peace.